You ever wonder how the classic, humble general store actually manages to compete in a world filled with these giant retailers? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this timeless business model. We're going to deconstruct its marketing strategy piece by piece and really figure out what makes it tick.
Okay, so it all kicks off with this simple but really powerful promise. Everything you need under one roof. I mean, that's the ultimate statement of convenience, right? But you gotta ask, in today's super crowded market, how does a business actually deliver on a claim that big?
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to unpack that whole everything store promise. Then, we'll dive into the strategy behind their products, prices, and promotions. After that, we'll see how they go beyond just shopping and how they build trust with what they call the 5-star seal. And finally, we'll wrap it all up and see what makes this whole thing work.
Okay, let's jump right in with part one, the everything store promise. And this is so much more than just a catchy slogan. It's literally the foundation the entire business is built on.
So what does everything even mean in this case? I'll tell you what it's not. It's not just some random pile of stuff. No, it's a really calculated mix. You've got your daily essentials, the stuff people need all the time. Then you layer on special deals and amazing discounts to create some buzz. But here's the kicker, the real curveball, phone repairs. That's a super clever way to offer a high-value service that makes them totally indispensable today.
Okay, so now that we know what they sell, let's look at how they sell it, the pricing and the promotions. That brings us to our second section, digging into the real strategy behind the shelves.
And this is the hook. Their whole value strategy is really anchored in one thing: unbeatable prices. It's not just about having everything you need, it's about getting it for a great deal. That simple promise, that's what gets people in the door.
What's so smart about their approach is that it's really a two-pronged attack. On one hand, you've got the daily essentials. This is for the routine shopper, the person who's coming in for things they already know they need. But on the other hand, you have the special deals. These are designed to catch your eye, drive that discovery, and trigger those impulse buys. It's a pretty brilliant way to hit two totally different customer mindsets at once.
And if we want to put a business term on this whole thing, what we're really talking about is their value proposition. All that means is the promise of value they're delivering. It's their answer to the most important question any customer has. So why should I buy from you?
But here's the thing. In today's world, just selling products, well, it's often not enough to cut it. And that brings us to a really crucial part of this model, expanding beyond products and offering more than just a shopping trip. Let's see how they do it.
So you have to wonder, right? With online giants and huge specialty stores everywhere you look, what sets a modern general store apart from all that competition? How do they carve out their own space?
And here's their answer, a high-demand service. Look at how they frame this. First, it's a service for all phone brands. That's huge. It widens their customer base immediately. Second, they promise a fast and reliable process, which, let's be honest, tackles the two biggest worries you have when your phone breaks. And finally, a clear call to action. Book your repair now. This isn't just some afterthought. It's a real game changer for their business.
Okay, so we've got variety, we've got value, and we've got a killer service. But you know what? None of that means a thing if customers don't trust you. And that brings us to the next big piece of the puzzle, building that trust through what we're calling the 5-star seal. When you boil it all down, the foundation of that trust really comes down to one simple, bold, incredibly powerful number: 5.
Yep, those 5 stars. This is one of the most powerful tools in modern marketing. It's called social proof. Think about it. Before you even read a single review, that simple image of 5 stars instantly tells your brain quality, reliability, satisfaction. It's like a universal symbol that says, hey, you're in good hands here. All right, it's time to put all of these pieces together. For our final section, let's answer the big question. What makes this whole thing work? Well, we can actually boil the entire strategy down to 4 key pillars.
And here it is, the whole model laid out. First up, you have variety, that under-one-roof collection. Then comes value, which is all about those everyday savings and special deals. The third pillar is service, that super smart move into high-demand tech repairs. And finally, trust, which is built and kept strong by that 5-star customer seal. When you put them all together, these 4 pillars create a retail model that's surprisingly resilient and really compelling.
So we've just walked through how variety, value, service, and trust combine to create a really powerful model. But it does leave us with one last big question. In an age of online giants, what really is the future of the general store?
Maybe the answer isn't about trying to beat those giants at their own game. Maybe it's about doubling down on the very human-centered pillars we just explored. Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me for this breakdown.